All right, it's 4th of July 2023, and we're gonna do a quick little garden tour. So check it out. So in the spring, I bought about $600 worth of these Compacta-Hollies. I think they're absolutely beautiful, kind of like boxwoods, sort of, but they grow really fast. But the problem I encountered was when I planted them, they instantly, most of them lost all their leaves, but as you can see here, they're all growing back. So that's a good thing. Moving right along, we got some Gerber daisies that I picked up. What a beautiful flower. Love that thing. And then that is holly. It's gonna have some red berries here in the winter time. So we got a male and a female in there. Some like green velvet boxwoods. These things are beautiful, man, but they're super slow growing. So it's gonna be a while to eventually fill in a hedge here. It's some sort of a cool fern that I picked up when I was down in South Carolina. I don't think that's a perennial up here, but I thought it was pretty neat. And then we got these daylilies I got at my Aunt Elaine's, and those look like they're getting close to blooming here. So look forward to that. Moving along, we got a blueberry, which is pretty neat. We don't have it covered. I see everybody covering it. I know the chickens have pecked the bottom of it. We got to find a place to put this, but for now it's just kind of sitting here in this little bed that we created. We got a basil, and then we got some sort of a pepper plant. I had bought 8 tomatoes plants, but 7 of them were tomato, and one of them just happened to be a pepper. It's kind of interesting though. They do look like tomatoes almost. And then I got, what is this little thing here? Oh, that's what that is. I don't know what this is, but that's some sort of an annual. Puts out a bunch of flowers. This thing, I think it's called a sedum. Typically you find those growing like in rocks, I guess. They don't need much nutrients. Got a winter gem boxwood. Put it there as kind of like an experiment. It's put on a lot of new growth. I might take some cuttings off of that because I'd love to have a bunch more of them. Moving along, we got, these things are beautiful. These are one of my favorite plants. These are the Sunfinity sunflowers that I picked up, and they've just been throwing off blooms nonstop. And then these beauties, the Stellas, daylilies. I think those are the first flowers I ever planted. I call these Charlotte's flowers because they always bloom on her birthday, June 19th. We got another one of the sunflowers. Oh, there's my babies right here. Check this out. These are a 2-year-old banana, and then we got ourselves it's an elephant here right there. It's actually pretty neat. They do get to be super huge, and they're just super cool. Come fall, it's probably going to be like 6 feet tall, and the biggest leaf on one of them is probably going to be like 3 feet wide. They're insane. But here's another view of the bananas, just to give you an example of how high these things are. All right, that's how I compare to it. So we're gonna move right along over here. We got some cool irises that my neighbor Matt hooked us up with. They didn't bloom this year, which is a bummer, and I think I was told it's because the roots were not exposed on the surface. There's a neglected rose bush I bought. It had a few blooms, but it doesn't have the sun. I didn't trim it. I don't think I fertilized it. I dug these hostas out. I got these from my Aunt Elaine years ago. They used to be in my front yard right over there where the Compacta-Hollies are. These are actually really funny because I never planted them. I dug them out, left them here, and they're doing perfectly fine, which is crazy. I got a bunch more right here. Ah, there's my azalea. That was a fail. Planted that last year. Didn't take care of it. Hope to have some azaleas sometime. This is kind of an interesting one too. This is, I think this is called an evening primrose. It started growing in the spring, and Plant ID said it was some sort of something that you might want, so I let it grow. It's kind of neat, but for the most part, it kind of does look like a weed, so that's probably gonna get yanked out. Oh man, as you can see right now, the sun's coming up. And this is where I like to hang out, right around like 6:10, just because it just creates this cool golden hour view of sorts. And I got a little homemade, what's it called, like a sundial here. So when the shadow casts from the sun, it's that, and it lines up with the middle of the screw right there. When the screw's in the middle of the shadow, that is the perfect time. So we just missed it. Actually, I didn't miss it. I just didn't record it. Corn plant, pretty neat. I've had that for a couple years. I had to move it into the shade here because in full sun it started to get burned, but it looks like it's recovered nicely. We get some sort of on hydrangea. Picked that up last year. That thing's doing great. It's a cool holly I picked up at Home Depot, I think, or Lowe's. I love this one right here. This gives off sort of a bluish color. Another one of, that's probably the first hoss I ever planted. I got that from my Aunt Elaine, and then I got a couple over here, giant ones, from my Aunt Terry. Then I got some violet that I planted that I had found growing in the yard. Oh, this is a good one right here. Ralph loves this. Ralph will sit out here and eat that old darn bush. He comes out here and just rolls around in it, eats it. What's that in the back there? Solomon seal, maybe? I got that from my Aunt Terry too. And there's a cool thing. That's cinder block. My Nonu built a, I guess, patio for my Aunt Elaine, and I think in the 70s. And a couple years ago, my brother, it was actually last year, my brother and I rebuilt it. So I saved that as like kind of a, I don't know, cool little memento. And then, yeah, well, I guess an acorn fell and this oak tree started to grow, and we're gonna let that one go. Let it go. But yeah, look at the difference here. I renovated this last year. That grass is super dark. I got a lot of Poa in here, which is that lime green color. A lot of spots too, because I was killing out all the clover. But I'm pretty happy with the results. I got to cut like 3/4 of an inch short. It's crazy, man. Here's the bananas. Oh, that's the corner of my property. I'm gonna plant a forsythia. That's what that is. So in the spring, you know, you'll see that pop of yellow color. And 5 o'clock is pretty neat. The sun comes right through the trees there and illuminates that. So if there's any flowers on there, it's gonna glow. My San Marzanos, yeah, these are cool. So my goal is always to grow tomatoes so I can make my own sauce for my own pizza. And this actually used to be strawberries, but we had a kind of a crappy year. All the rain, plus you know, we had a late frost, so the strawberries didn't do too good, so we just yanked them all out. And we got 7 San Marzanos, and then this one right here is a Cherokee Purple. So it gets plenty of sun. I like to sit here, talk to my plants, you know. Oh, we just cooked a brisket. Last night, 15 hours. Came out, mwah, excellent. Yeah, so here's the backyard. That pink stick right there, I really want to plant a Japanese maple right where that is. I think it's a great location for it. Backyard, chicken screwed that all up, but what are you gonna do? But yeah, I think that's gonna be a good spot for a Japanese maple right out there. And all right, well, I think the last 2 things I'm going to show you are some experiments that I'm doing. Heck, look at the size of that fire pit. But yeah, so I planted a winter gem boxwood in the shade back here because I'm curious to see how it's doing, and actually surprised. It's actually been doing pretty good. And then this was a fun one because I want to build a hedge that goes the whole way down here. I like the idea of boxwoods. They're expensive, but they're slow growing. And this is an Autolucan, I don't know. It's a cherry laurel. That's what it is. That's actually been doing pretty fine here. All the leaves got burned in the winter time because I think we're in zone 5 is a little too much for it. But the leaves came back. It hasn't grown any more in size. And that's probably has something to do with being in the shade. But other than that, I mean, it's alive. And yeah, let's come up here. Yeah, so if you see right where I want to put that holly, the Japanese maple, I think that's such a great spot. Man, it's beautiful out right now. But I'll tell you what, I love this view right here. It's pretty cool. But yeah, actually this is the last thing I'm going to show you. So I got this huge patch of Pachysandra. I absolutely love it. It's beautiful. It always looks like this, 365 days a year. Super clean. Got some weeds I do have to pull out, whatever. Not sure what this is. This dies off in the winter and then just reappears in the spring. It doesn't really spread too much. Bunch of wild raspberries. I gotta pull this out. Plans to clean this whole area out and plant a whole bunch of Pachysandra up there. Already started to do some work to prep it, but that's the goal for that. I love these giant oak trees up here. These are cool, especially this one right here. I think that's a white oak. So, all right. Oh, almost forgot. Unanimous. I forget what that stuff's called, but it's variegated. It's got like this yellow green to it. Hope to have that thing grow and be big, be at the entrance to my house here. All right. Happy 4th of July, 2023.